I've never seen anything like this.
Good day everyone and welcome back to the studio. On this episode we're going to try to take these nuts and turn them into bronze. Now in the assortment we got a bunch of variety. We've got hazelnuts, almonds, walnuts, and when I was growing up we called these little guys Brazil nuts. They're called Brazil nuts. So let's get to it. So for this project I'm going to be doing a lost organics method. It's exactly the same as lost wax casting, but instead of burning out the wax, you just burn out all the organic matter. The first thing I need to do is attach it to a wax sprue. By just taking the wax and melting the end and sticking it to the nut, it works pretty well. Then I close in the gaps and put it on the sprue tree. Once we have our sprue tree, it's ready to put it in the investment. The investment is a very porous plaster designed for withstanding very high temperatures. Then I put it in the kiln to burn out the wax and the nuts. So we've got all these walnuts and stuff going at over 1,000 degrees. That's pretty hot, but with these organics it takes a long time for them to burn out. There's no oxygen getting through that investment, so the burnout is pretty slow. So I held it at over 900 degrees for about 18 hours. Once I shut it off and let it cool, I rinsed it out to try to wash out any ash that was still in there. Then I put it back in the kiln to slowly bring it to casting temperature again. So that's back, ouch! Back up to temperature. Let's start the furnace. I'll take the flask of investment out of the kiln at about 1,000 degrees. I want to pour the metal while it's still hot so the metal doesn't freeze instantly. Upon pouring the metal, I realized something was wrong. It shouldn't be bubbling like that. You can see little gases coming out and igniting. Kind of looks like the surface of the sun, but that's not supposed to happen.
I don't think that's good for the casting, but that's really cool. I've never seen anything like that before.
When I poured that, I really didn't think we'd get much of anything, but seems like there's some nuts there. All the bubbling coming up, I figured the nuts weren't burned out yet, and I think that's kind of right. I got some good texture. Look at that one. Others not good at all. This is completely experimental. This one's about ready to fall right off. My burnout wasn't long enough to remove all the nut debris. Check this one out. Solid on the outside, all crusty on the inside. Well, we've got quite an assortment of failures right now. But does that mean I'm gonna quit? No, because I'm an American. And in America, we have this thing called American ingenuity. We don't quit when we fail. We meet things head on. We fight. We try again. We invented the airplane, the assembly line, the light bulb, the Etch-a-Sketch. We put a man on the moon. You think when Thomas Edison had a light bulb that didn't work, he just stopped? No, he stole another idea until he found one that worked. And that's what I'm gonna do. Because in America, if you want to bronze your nuts, you should be able to bronze your nuts. And I'm gonna keep trying until I turn my nuts into bronze. Because that's what Americans do. Let's just go start again. So I'll go through the same process of attaching the nuts to the wax sprue and building the sprue tree. I put a pine cone on top. Now with this one I think I'm just gonna have to set it and forget it. Leave it in there a really long time. So So I let this one cook for about 2 days at about 1,000 degrees. Hopefully that's enough. So if you look close, there's still chunks, big chunks coming out. That's not a good thing. My goal is that everything inside would just burn to ash and I could easily remove it. One difference between plaster and investment is investment dissolves when you put it in the quench. Plaster doesn't. So it's time to confess, I mixed half of my investment with plaster, just because it's cheaper. But at this point, I'm regretting that decision. The plaster makes it much harder to break free. It's interesting, right there you can see the cast of where a walnut was, but the metal didn't quite make it there. In the end, we did find some success. Turns out, yes, you can make bronze nuts. Not the easiest ones to do. They didn't turn out quite as well as the raspberries, but still an interesting project. By far the best are the walnuts. Let me know if you want to see another experimental casting. Till next time, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.